Welcome to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host, and thank you for downloading today's episode. Today's episode is a bonus episode where I'm just going to do a short little solo show, although I will tell you there's a nice long relationship roundtable show that just got published today on women, men, and relationship. And it's everyone from their 20s to their 50s talking about relationships, from opposites to heterosexual versus homosexual relationships, opposites attracting versus opposites not working and working. Anyway, it's an awesome show full of wonderful people and great conversation. So I hope you'll pop over to Women, Men, and Relationships and download that show. I run the 30-day manifestation challenge every couple of months, and I had a comment and question today that I thought would be best to answer here. So that's what I'm going to do. So it goes like this. Hi, gang. I have a question. I've been working on my manifestations every day. Now, mind you, today is the 8th, and this was posted yesterday on the 7th, so only 7 days in, okay? My manifestations involve money and generating more income for my business. To date, I have not seen an increase in money coming in or have any indications that lead me to believe I'll have any more coming in soon. But I have been about 10 times more productive than usual in creating a new offering in my business. Could this productivity be a sign that my manifestations are working? If so, could it be a sign of the potential success of that new business offering? Thanks in advance. So I said, caution, taking score activates lack and scarcity, so that can block. Trust the process without a timeline and allow it to unfold. She replied and said, interesting. So that I'm clear, taking the timing out of things will help accelerate the process. And I said that you can't be attached to the timing of it without causing resistance. The only reason we all want, anything we want, is that we think we'll feel better in having it. You can have these feelings now and not need it, and you can't need it and manifest it easily. And then I said I was going to do this podcast. So I wanted to give you the whole thread so that you could understand where I was going with this. So one of the biggest blocks for people when manifesting is the timing aspect, is the control that happens when you're taking score of what's not going on. And I want to empower most of you, all of you, to let that go. Hopefully everyone who's in my group went back and listened and watched all the videos that I did. First and foremost, I really want to hit on the point that is one of the most, I'd say, famous phrases out of Esther's mouth when channeling Abraham, which is that the only reason you want what you want, the only reason you want anything that you want, is because you think you'll feel better in the having of it. So in the case of I want more money because I'll feel relief, I'll feel freedom, I'll feel happy, I'll feel centered, I'll feel calmer. Okay, so here's the thing about manifestation, thoughts, feelings, subconscious mind, and this whole process. We have resistance to things. And when you focus on something, whatever that thing may be, there's not necessarily the cleanest vibration or frequency that you're offering when you look at something. That's why if any of you have heard the show I did on appreciation versus gratitude, the difference between those two words, while gratitude is still somewhat of a positive word, gratitude actually has a negative emotion attached to it most of the time. Most people do not have a clean vibration of happiness when they say gratitude, because gratitude usually indicates some hard thing you had to get over to be in gratitude. And you drag that hard thing energy with you into this phrase of I'm feeling grateful because. Can you feel that? It's usually I'm feeling grateful because I had to go through this, or I had this hard thing happen, or I got out of this. Versus appreciation has no attachment. I appreciate. It's direct. There's no because. It's just I appreciate. I appreciate the sun. Not because it was dark yesterday. I'm feeling gratitude for the sun out today because it was dark yesterday. So there's a slight difference in those frequencies. And when you focus on something that you want and you're taking score of it, and especially in the case of when it's not there yet, you activate scarcity. And you activate the lack of trust. You activate that what is not in alignment with what you want. So when it comes to thinking about manifestation and law of attraction, because remember, law of attraction it just is. You are always attracting. The group that I'm doing right now, which by the way is closed, so please nobody else try to get in. We're not doing another one until November. And for those of you that are waiting in the wings for it, the reason why you're not in right now is because you didn't answer the question about what name you're under on Facebook. So there's only so much I can do to try to get you into the group. You need to help me when you use a different name, or for some reason I can't find you, or you somehow got put into the group by somebody else. Everybody has to register and be registered in order to participate. So when you're thinking, I did this group because it's a focus and accountability for doing the work or doing the activity or being conscious about the thoughts that we have, the direction that we're taking, the story that we're telling that gets us into the better feeling, better vibration place. But don't be fooled. If you're not in the group, it doesn't matter. Or if you're in the group, you're manifesting every day, all day long. The question is, what are you manifesting? What's showing up for you? Because what's showing up for you will show you what you believe and where you're vibrating, which equals how you're feeling and also what you're thinking. So when it comes to looking at how to do this manifestation thing, first of all, thoughts become things. And the first manifestation has to be the feeling. So let's go back to the phrase, you only want what you want. It's the only reason. Think about it. The only reason you want anything is because you think you'll feel better when you have it. But that is a fleeting moment. And you'll never be in alignment with it to get it faster if you aren't feeling it first. You have to get into alignment with it for it to be. But here's the trick and here's the caveat. It's basically getting to the place where you don't need it. You're so happy that it's like you can still want it. And if that feels clean to you, but if you're secretly sad or a little bit nervous or feel a little bit of worry or distrust about it, then you put up resistance to getting it. Now, in theory, if you have a clean vibration, you can offer a thought or a frequency about anything and get it pretty quickly. I'm really good with food. I can have a thought about food. I'll never forget, probably not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe not even 2 years ago, that I ordered pizzas from one of our favorite pizza places, and they don't deliver. It's a restaurant. And I remember ordering a gluten-free pizza, and my husband, he eats it. The crust is great. But I remember when I was ordering it, before I ordered, thinking, I really want 2 pizzas. I want him to be able to have what he wants, and I would want to have what I want. But they're really big pizzas, and we don't really need 2 of them, and I don't want to spend the money on 2 of them. So I let that thought go. So I ordered the pizza. I went to pick it up, or he went to pick it up, brought it back, and it wasn't gluten-free. So I called, and they went, oh, we're so sorry. We'll make you another one. So at no charge. So what did I manifest? Exactly what I wanted, like 10 minutes later. So, and that happens to me all the time with food because I have no attachment to it because I don't care because I'm not putting that much importance on it. That's why it's easier to manifest smaller things because you don't have any resistance to it because you're not thinking about it. I'll put this in the group and I'll put this on the blog under the same post as the Sacred Contracts because I wanted to share this with you guys. I had a party for Doug welcoming to California with podcaster friends and other friends this past Sunday. And a couple who have come to my event, who have listened to the podcast before and who've been part of actually one of them has been part of this group, manifestation group. And I wanted to show it and share it with somebody who would totally get it, the manifestation. So back in January of this year, Doug was a client. And actually, before he even started, we were friends. We had spent some time together. I'd been on the show a couple times, and I just liked him, right? He's a friend. I've got a lot of friends. And he posted on Facebook this picture of a fireplace. And the fireplace had candles above it, and those were also lit. And I'll never forget, he posted it like January 6th or 7th. But when it got posted, I don't know, I was like one of the first people to see it. I think I was the first person to like it, and I was the first person to comment on it because I had such a strong emotion about it. I thought, oh my God, I want that fire. And I'm pretty sure I'd said something to that, or I want a glass of wine in front of that fire, okay? And it's funny because then later in my mind, because I put wine in my thought, that I thought later that the picture actually had a glass of wine in front of it. And it didn't because we went back and looked for it. So here I am. It's end of May and I'm helping him pack his house because he's moving out and he's putting his stuff in storage and he's giving me stuff to bring here. And I had said, even before I got there, I want to do a fire. And so as I got closer and as the date came closer, I realized, oh my God, I'm going to be in that picture. And so we lit the candles and we made the fire. And actually what was even funnier is that day, right before that happened, the power had gone off. So we were kind of vacillating on whether or not to light the candles and to do the fire, but it almost became necessary because the electricity was off. So we needed to light candles just to see because we couldn't see in the dark. He's like, I think you're a witch. So that was really funny. Now the power came back on and then we made the fire and I took a picture and I'm going to share it on the blog. So it'll be under the same post of the Sacred Contracts. But just to give you an impact, if that was 6 months later, not even, that was end of May. Or actually, at that point, it was June. It was like June 3rd. So like exactly 6 months from the time I saw that first picture and had such a strong feeling about it. And again, I wasn't after Doug. I had no idea. Doug was happily married as far as I knew. Doug was in a great relationship. And I thought, and again, and I didn't think I'd be attracted to him past, like intellect. I had no idea. And I had no desire to leave my marriage. I never had a desire to leave my marriage, actually, ever. So here I am, now in this new situation, and I've manifested in 6 months, not only the fire, but the guy who made the fire. And it was a pretty profound thing because I didn't have an attachment to it. I wasn't visualizing about a person specifically. And when I manifested my husband in the first place, the same thing. I had his energy in my awareness when I was thinking about a relationship, but I didn't attach it to him. I didn't have his face or a picture or anything like that. I allowed it to become whatever it was. And that is the main point of today's show, is about allowing. You want what you want because you think you'll feel better when you get it. But know that all you're searching for really are the feelings. And you can have the feelings now. And that's the trick. The trick is to get to the feelings where you don't even need the stuff. And when you're not attached to the stuff is when you get the stuff. So how do you get not attached to stuff? Well, when it comes to money, especially for those of you that are penny pinching and you're not being able to pay your bills right now and you're worried about that and you're making the excuse, listen up, you're making the excuse that because I don't have any money right now and I don't know how I'm going to pay for that, therefore I need to worry about that, which is what I'm doing. I'm actively doing by worrying, by looking at what is, which stimulates more vibrational frequencies about what is, which keeps you in what is. I know it sounds like a stretch, but it's the work. It's the work of trusting. It's the work of visualization. It's the work of when you're in a movie and you aren't thinking about your life, you get emotional about the situation, the music, and you can get visceral about it. You can put yourself in a place where it looks amazing and feel those feelings and get attached to those characters. And that's all I'm asking you to do, and all Law of Attraction requires of you, is to get out of the is and move to the what you want. Create that in your mind. We're taking a walk last night. We were looking at houses on the beach, Doug and I, and we talked about the scarcity. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. If you have scarcity, you have scarcity, because you're always going to say, well, if I have this much more, or this much more, or this much more, the habit and the belief is there and the lack of trust is there. And when you have two ways of looking at a house. So I'm looking at this house on the Strand and I pointed to it and I said, okay, let's take this house as an example. There are two ways you could look at this house. Well, there's probably more than two, but let's just take it as what happens when you look at this house and currently right now. Well, what comes up is, boy, I want that house. I want that house, but gee, how am I going to pay for it? Oh my God, it's going to be so expensive. And then how am I going to keep that up? Oh my, how much more money do I have to make? Oh my God, how much more work do I have to do in order for me to get that house? I'm going to be so tired. Do I really want that house? Okay. That is one choice that when most of you reach too far outside of what you think is possible in disbelief, all these negative thoughts subconsciously get triggered and you put up resistance. So I said, let me rephrase it then. Let's look at that house again. Now I want you to pretend the house has been paid off. The taxes for the next 5 years has been paid off and there's money in the bank. Now, how do you feel about that house? Oh, I feel freedom and relief and relax. Oh, I just want to lay down and relax. I feel so relaxed. Okay? Same house, different conversation. When it comes to manifesting, yes, we are focused on looking at results. What I want you to get out of is focus on the results of the feelings. the result of the trust, the result of understanding that you will be provided for and that you are in conscious control of the direction of your thoughts. When you aren't and you're triggered, whole nother conversation, something you can work on. And that's what some of this process is going to bring up for some of you. Whether you're doing it or not with me on the challenge and you're just listening to the Fit to Love podcast or Spirit, Purpose, and Energy and you're not in the group, that's fine. Let's say you get triggered and you're like, well, how do I get out of that? So that's a whole nother conversation about momentum and different kinds of healing for the sake of practicing law of attraction. When you can trust, when you can focus forward, when you can be in that dream state. You know, haven't you ever been around someone who's having a completely different experience than you? And you wonder, are they delusional? What do they do? Like, what's going on with them? That's not what's happening right now. But if you really pay attention, they believe what it is they see because they're probably seeing something very different than you because they're on a different frequency than you are. You cannot attract what you want until you're at the frequency level it exists, which means you have to let go of looking for it in order to get to the place of allowing it. Allowing and making happen are two different things. That's why sometimes it sounds like the advice is opposite, and it's not. And I was thinking about a diagram today that I could make. It's like different entry points. Sometimes it sounds like to people that law of attraction says, just ignore it and go focus on something else. And that's true, because for some people who can't gain conscious control of their thoughts, who can't let go of worry or fear or distrust long enough to play with themselves and their mind in a game that says, I want to visualize something better than I have right now, and what might that feel like. For those people who are unconsciously, which is most people, manifesting all day long, the idea of distraction. Have you ever noticed when you go on a vacation, certain things fall in line for you? So everyone usually equates vacation as, oh my God, my life is so much better on vacation, because you let go. You're in a different environment. You stop beating the drum of what is. You stop looking at the same things. You're usually more relaxed. And for me, every time I travel, I get business, because I'm so disconnected from it and any of the things that stimulate a what is response, that more things come into my existence. Let me give you one more story. I have so many. Back when I had a somewhat of a business partner, and I think at that point maybe he had left because I was having issues with clients and billing and trainers, and this is years and years and years ago. Okay. And he decided to quit, and he had a pretty good client load, which meant in that moment, I had to take over that client load. And I already had enough clients that I couldn't fit in anymore, but I was going to have to fulfill these clients' contracts. And at that point, I was pushed so far up against the wall because I was using the other time to try to build the business. But really what I was doing was worrying. Really what I was doing was I was in panic mode. I was in anxiety mode. I was in solve the problem mode. And the universe literally had him quit, had to fill my schedule with all these old clients driving all over the place. I'm now completely so booked. I can't look for business. I had to surrender. So what did I do that day? And I needed money so bad. I opened up the best bottle of champagne I had, because I've been carrying it around from New York for a long time, and I did the laundry. It was like a Tuesday or a Thursday. I think it was a Tuesday. And I literally said, fuck it. I was literally pushed into surrender. And once I surrendered between the champagne and doing laundry, I kid you not, the very next day, I got a client who wanted to hire me for 3 full days, which I believe at the time might have been $1,000 a day. So let's say $3,000 to hire me all day because he wanted to quit smoking. And then he bought a 30-pack of sessions, which at the time I believe was somewhere around $3,500. So after I surrendered, although no, I went down fighting, the universe pushed me into surrender, I brought in $6,500 in 2 days. Maybe it was 3 days. Because I'd stopped fighting. I stopped fighting. So know that you're looking for what feels like relief. At every turn, how you know you're on the right track is when you have positive feelings, you feel free, you feel inspired, and you feel relief. When you have a thought that feels restrictive and resistant and fearful and worry, you are not in alignment with what your higher self, what your higher being, if you will, your non-physical being that already knows whatever you want is possible for you, you're not in alignment with that. And that's your indicator that you're having any kind of negative feeling, whether it be in your body or you're aware of the thoughts or the story that you're telling. Okay, this podcast went on a little longer than I'd expected, but I hope this was helpful. Please let me know. Let me know in the group if you're in the group. Again, it's a really dense subject, and I knew I wouldn't need any notes because I have so many stories to identify this. But the most important thing to remember is the less resistance you have, the more free, the more flowing, the more you trust in guidance. And that's one more thing. I'll just finish with that. The other part of law of attraction that I love is the idea that you have all of the non-physical energies and pure positive energy and all this leverage in what I'm going to call universe, God, creator, source, energy, whatever you want to call it. Okay? There is leverage there. There are people who've done it already. There are energies that want to help you. There are past people who know you, who don't know you, who want to whisper in your ear the secret to getting what it is you want. They want to line you up with exactly what you want. But if you are not in allowing, you cannot hear it and you cannot receive it. The reason why sometimes you don't get what you want is because there's something better coming. But until you're in allowing and receiving, you're not going to know it and you're not going to be in alignment with it. So take it easy, have some fun, take a nap, do something fun, stop taking score, and just for a couple weeks, especially for those of you on the challenge, stop taking score. Take score of how good you feel and then milk that. And that's all I want from you. Just try it. For 1 week, stop taking score of the physical manifestations in your life. I mean, if they come, great, celebrate them. But take note about how you feel and celebrate that. Make that be the most important thing that you're reaching for, because I'm telling you, it's the only thing you really want. Because I'll tell you that people have millions of dollars and what you think is a good relationship and all kinds of stuff that you think you want, and they may be miserable. One thing does not equal the other. But everybody, doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you're on, everybody wants whatever they want because they want to feel good and they want to feel happy. And the great part about it is that's free and available to you right now. And with that, I will ask you also to put on your vision boards to get your butts to the next big step, because we're going to be doing this visualization work. We're going to be doing this meditation. We're going to be doing this inherited emotional DNA clearing. We're going to do it. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, but I don't have any money. That's the point. So make the commitment. Make the commitment and watch it fall into place. Commit to yourself. Say in some way, figure it out. Open yourself up to it. Visualize about it, because you know you need it on so many levels, whether it be coming live and communing with us in person, or buying the virtual ticket and doing this on your own at the comfort of your own home, but having us as accountability. Because what comes along with this new next big step is also 3 months of accountability. So it's not just for that one time. It's for accountability past that, for you to live and thrive with this work. I hope to see you there. jjflizanes.com/next big step.